My name is Cynthia Clark, and I am a soulmate palmist and spiritual teacher. And I'm here to talk today a little bit about signs from the universe, which I think is a very interesting topic, first of all, but also something that can be super helpful if you are looking for some reassurance or some guidance in your life. And this sometimes can be an underutilized tool that I think people should be aware of and start using because it's amazing. so, so anyway, today I'm going to talk a little bit about what signs you can actually get from the universe, the fact that we actually do get signs from the universe, how you can test it out yourself, and what are some of the benefits? What can you expect for a benefit from getting signs? So, first off, the universe is here to help you. Okay, so the universe is love and light, and we are here on Earth to experience lessons and training, and it's a process for our soul to evolve. Okay, so if you feel like life is a struggle right now, which a lot of people are definitely feeling that, it's okay. First of all, just take a deep breath. We're okay right here in this moment, and the universe wants to help you. Okay, so, and I have a lot of stories about this too, because I actually went through some pretty dark periods myself that I felt like I would never come out of. And one of those moments was when I got divorced and I went into a very dark space. I got vertigo for 9 months, and I really didn't know if I could come out the other side. And I ended up starting to meditate every day. I was reading books like Joe Dispenza's The Placebo Effect, which is a really excellent book. I was also studying Dr. Bruce Lipton and the biology of belief, and the whole concept of epigenetics and how we can rise above our genes. All of these things were really inspiring to me. And I thought, okay, well, maybe if I get out of this funk, I should start listening to people like this, and I can pull myself out. But I didn't know if it was actually working, right? A lot of times we're kind of in this muck, and we have no idea if things are actually working or changing or growing, or if anybody's even out there listening. It can be really frustrating. So I asked the universe for a sign. And at the time I was really, I was looking for something very specific. I was starting to meditate every single day, and I really wanted to know if my meditations were working. So that's what I asked to be, tell me if this is working. And what I asked for was to see red or pink roses, which, by the way, I drew a card this morning, so I knew I was going to pull this out. Isn't this a beautiful card, by the way? I just love this card. It is so beautiful. This is from a deck that was given to me by a friend of mine in Salt Lake City. And her deck is called the Inner Compass Oracle by Evelyn Terranova. So this is the deck that I received the gift from, and I pulled from it this morning. And here's that pink rose. And I love how the universe is like, the world is right there and the universe is behind it. Isn't that fun? So by the way, the roses, ever since I asked for that sign, The roses have been following me for a very long time, and it was funny, the very next day, it was less than 24 hours after I had asked for the sign from the universe, I got my sign in the form of a pair of ski goggles. So I was living in Aspen, Colorado at the time, and I needed a new pair of ski goggles. So I was shopping for a new pair, and there was probably 150 pair on this table. And I ended up finding one pair that had on the strap, on the sides, had red and pink roses all over it. And most goggles, if you see them, they tend to have just sort of a black strap with like the logo of the company on them. They're not all that interesting. But this one pair had beautiful red and pink roses. And it was my sign. I got my sign. It was amazing. So that was the confirmation that also helped me to keep going in my meditation. And little by little, I started to feel better. And it was such a reassurance for me. I mean, I see those roses everywhere, almost every day, which is pretty cool. So other ways that you can see signs include the hands, which of course your hands tell you and they reflect back to you all aspects of yourself. And sometimes they will reflect things in the form of cuts or hangnails or, things like that, which are not necessarily a bad thing. But you can tell, if you know how to read hands, of course, that something is going on and it's trying to reflect it back to you. Okay, so let me give you some examples. Okay, so this week, and I can actually use my own hand as an example. This week I had a little like one of those extra hangnails on my thumb. Okay, now the thumb is the finger of manifestation, has to do with how you achieve your results in the world. And I had this little extra thing there, right? That's just kind of annoying and you want to cut it off. So to me, I read that as, okay, it's time for you to let go of things that are no longer working for you and time to let that go. And so that's for my manifesting. Perhaps you would get a cut on your Jupiter finger or your index finger. That's going to be how you're looking at yourself. Maybe you're not being nice enough to yourself or kind enough to yourself. You might get a horizontal cut in one of your Jupiter phalanges. By the way, if the cut is vertical, that is going to represent more of an opening. And when it's horizontal, it's going to be more of a blockage or a restriction. So that's why I read that little extra hangnail as something I needed to let go of because I want to dump it, right? So these are all things that you can learn. Now, there are things that you can designate too. Okay, like I did with the roses, you can designate your own signs and you can say, I would like to see a white bird as an example. I had a client of mine who actually requested that as her sign. And she ended up, it was so funny, less than a week after she designated that, she had a white bird get caught in her garage. And, she had to open the garage so it could fly out. And she was like, I don't even know how that could have happened. How could it get caught in my garage? But it was the sign that she needed. Sometimes we'll see things like barriers that are trying to show us that this is not the way we should be going, or this is not what we should be focusing on. So when I first moved to Aspen, for example, I was looking for a place to do my palmistry readings. And I wanted to go into a store where I could have some contact with the public. So I went around town and I looked at all these different places around town. And there was one place I remember very clearly. I was thinking, oh, this is going to be a great place for me to go. And there was this barrier literally blocking my path to the stairs. And it was as if it was saying, don't go this way. Don't even think about it. This is not the right place for you." And I ended up, sure enough, not going there. And I ended up somewhere else where that was much better for me. And I ended up meeting my husband at this new place. So, very interesting how things happen if we're paying attention. Also, you may see numbers, right? I love numerology. I'm totally interested in numerology, and I see number sequences all the time. So maybe you see 1111. And if you're one of those people that sees that, it's like a wake up, right? It's telling you that you're evolving, you're growing, you're expanding, you've got new things coming in. And I started seeing 1111, I would say pretty shortly after I started reading hands. And I started to see it all the time. And I often wondered, well, what is that? And I started studying numerology too. And the ones, of course, represent new beginnings. So it's like you're in a new beginning, you're starting something down a completely different path, and it's going to be really fun and exciting and different. And that was a lot of fun. So that's the one. Okay, maybe you see twos. Twos represent relationship harmony. Threes represent fun, playfulness, creativity. Fours represent angels and stability, something that you're building, working towards. Five represents change and travel. Six represents loving service. Seven represents spirituality and being on your spiritual path. Eights represent abundance. Nines represent humanitarianism and also completion. So when I was getting towards the end of my marriage, after 19 years, I started seeing 999 pretty much everywhere. And it was, in license plates in front of me. It was, on buildings. These were definitely signs coming to me, and I noticed it, and I'm like, something is ending. And at the time, I didn't know what it was, but it was definitely giving me that information. It's like stuff is ending. Something is ending. You're coming to a completion phase, which of course then opens up the doorway to a new beginning. But numbers can be really, really cool to see. And I just the other day saw 777. That was the temperature outside, 77.7. And then inside it was also 77.7. It was the exact same temperature. And it was all sevens. And it was next to my little sign that said love. And that was so cool because it's like it was telling me very directly, love is your spiritual pathway. And you are on your spiritual pathway right now. And for me, helping people to find their soulmate match, helping people to find love, helping people to actually ignite that deeper soulmate love versus a superficial type of love is what I'm all about and what really gets me excited. So it was so neat to see that confirmation just the other day. And, the universe, it's sort of like that warm blanket that just like wraps around you. And it just feels so good when you see it and you know that you're not alone, because you're not. You're never alone. The universe has your back. The universe is with you and watching you every step of the way. So it can be very reassuring to get these signs. Other types of signs that you might have are from books. You might open up a page of a book, like here's the, coming back to this deck, Inner Compass Oracle deck, flip open the page and then read the first thing that you see, and let's take a look. I just pulled the Earth Messenger of your wings. So we've got Cygnus the Swan. Okay, so yeah, this is something about Oh, this is lovely. You are beautiful, divine, and wonderful just as you are. Okay, well, that's my message for you if you're listening, because you are a beautiful person. You are a beautiful spiritual being, and everybody needs to remember this. So, this is your first message from the universe. Isn't that awesome? So, yeah, so you can get messages from books, you can get it from conversations. Sometimes you might be, for example, you might think about somebody and then the next day they call you and it's like, oh, yeah, I wanted to hear from that person. And maybe they have a message for you that you need to hear. You know, all of these things can be just the beautiful signs from the universe. And, you can also, like I said, designate what you want to see. Like, for example, I was working with some unicorn cards, I would say a few months ago. And I love the unicorns. They're so fun and playful. And I just wanted to know, is unicorn energy actually helping me? Okay, so that was my question, which maybe is a strange question if you've never thought about a unicorn in that way. But I just wanted to know. And that very day, it was not even a day later, it was later on that day, I was going shopping at Ace Hardware, which, you wouldn't think to find unicorns at Ace Hardware, but I did. Right at the checkout counter, there was a whole display full of unicorns right there. And I can't even remember, it was some sort of paint product. You would not expect that to be there, but it was so perfect. And for me, it was definitely the sign I was looking for. Hey, guess what? Unicorn energy is helping me. I think I'll keep pulling those cards. And of course, you can also use the different kinds of oracle cards or tarot cards to help you as well. Definitely, that's a way to communicate with the universe. But I would encourage you to be playful with this whole process. And so this is my challenge for you this week is if there is something that you want to know. Okay, so for example, if you want to know if the universe is really out there helping you and you want a confirmation, ask for a sign, make it very specific, and look for it. Look for the magic to actually open up for you. And I promise you, the universe is more magical and powerful than you can possibly imagine. And you have more power within you than you realize. And so I would encourage you to focus on, remember, it goes back to the law of attraction. How does the universe work? What you focus on expands. So if you want to focus on clarity, if you want to focus on purpose, if you want to focus on passion, if you want to focus on finding a soulmate, if you want to focus on abundance, you cannot focus on the opposite of those things in order to create them in your reality. Okay, so if you want to be wealthy, you can't be focusing on how you can't pay your bills. If you want to focus on a soulmate match, you can't focus on how nobody is out there for you. This stuff, it totally works. I promise you. I have created the life of my dreams based upon what I'm teaching you right now. And it is not, it is not made up. It is not stupid. It works. It may seem crazy or silly or whatever, but it actually does work. So, thank you for listening. And it is always my pleasure. It is my honor to be of assistance, to be of service, to help you to find that better side of yourself that you're looking for, that is there already. You just need to remember. And if you want to know more about me or find out more about me, go to loveinyourhands.com. I encourage that. And I am excited to be here and assisting you. So until next time, have a wonderful day. And remember that life has more meaning when it's shared. Have a great day.